Somehow, Daenerys forgot about the Iron Fleet.
Welcome to another video. Today we are finally mixing fish with fish. We are playing Ghotis with the Gishkis, alright? I figured out a way to get these two archetypes to work together. Let's show it off, alright? And what you're going to want to do most of the time is try and bait out an Ash Blossom with your Gishki Shadow or your Gishki Vision. That's what I always like to do. Let's see if opponent has anything. Opponent firing off the Max C. Alright, well luckily we got to cross out, designate there are a bunch of hand traps in this deck to negate the maximum C, so let's negate it. I even thought about running Droll and Knockbird, but I'm not convinced yet. You let me know what you think. Should I be running Droll? Is it time to Droll the opponents? Right now, we're going to negate the Ash. Search for the Aquamirror. Normal summon the Paces, alright? Now we're maximizing on the Paces. We got triple Paces in this deck list. Paces, you just summon it, and then you banish it. It's going to come back later. Special summon your Gishkis, which are fish, and this is relevant because Ghotis care a lot about fish. Alright. Let's special summon the Abyss. Abyss, search for the Vision. Vision going to activate. Search for the Narrow-Manus. Very amazing. Let's activate Aquamirror. And this is just like if you normal summon the Grimness, alright? Except we got Future Extension coming up, so we're going to be ready for it. Narrow-Manus going to summon from the graveyard. We're going to get the Grimness. Opponent hitting us with Nibiru. That was the 5th summon right there. So we are going to Narrow-Manus right now. Get negating. Bounce back to the hand. And opponent doesn't realize, alright? They should have waited, alright? They should have waited, although I guess we would have had the negate either way. But we're going to be able to resummon this Narrow-Manus. And when you resummon it, it's not once per turn. Neither of its effects are once per turn. So we get the summon from the graveyard again. Spray Elf going to get the Abyss. Abyss going to search for the Shadow. We are going to activate the Shadow. And this time, I'm going to use the Photo Mirror. Now, I could have searched for the Aquamirror, attributed my Vision in hand to not lose any life points. But I think I want to keep something in hand, so, you know, have follow-up plays on the next turn. So we are going to Photo Mirror, summon the Narrow-Manus, and beware of your Spray Elf zones, alright? Be very aware of it. You want to summon your big bossy effects into the Spray Elf zones because cards that Spray Elf points to cannot be targeted. So let's get that Masquerena. And we're going to end the turn. And on the next turn, we're going to have a Gishki play and we're going to have a Ghotis play. Let's summon that Paces. Opponent is playing. You knew it. Min Kankos. They made us go first, but we're ready. Alright, we are ready. Opponent sending the Ohime to the graveyard from the top of their deck. And we're going to activate this right now, alright? And always target the Grimness with your Spray Elf if you can, because Abyss will miss the timing. So I was checking in the graveyard, make sure, because this is something else you'd be aware of, alright? If whatever they sent to the graveyard had an effect that activates when sent to the graveyard, then you don't want to special summon your Abyss, search for, or special summon your Grimness, get your Abyss, because that effect that starts on the next chain will block your Gishki Abyss from resolving. It's very silly, but that's the way it is. Alright, Grimness on field. Opponent's Minkanko has been searched for. We're going to get our Abyss search. Search for a Shadow to set up another summon on in the next turn. An opponent. Alright, what can they target? They can target Sprite Elf. They can target our Gishki Abyss. They can target our Grimness or the Paces. These two are not targetable. I'm sure my opponent would have loved to target them with their Minkanko Water Arabask to send them back to the hand. So what is the opponent targeting? The Paces. Paces get dodging. Synchro summon away. Now we are going to lose our interaction here. With the Paces, we were going to be able to banish a card, but dodging this Minkanko Water Arabask is well worth it. Now Arion Post is going to activate. It's going to do two things. It is going to banish Zep from the deck, which is going to synchro summon. And then once we synchro summon, we are going to get a search. So Azcan in defense mode, very safe from the Minkankos with that 0 defense. Not banish anything, but we do get the search. And what are we going to use the search for? Well, you could use it to search for basically any Gishki. You get Abyss, you can get the Grimness, and you saw I banished the Paces from the graveyard to do that search, so it's going to come back on the next turn. Opponent, you're up next. What are you going to do? Opponent activating the second Hidden Armory, milling another card, getting another Water Arabask. So what are they going to target this time? Now they could target the Azcan, they could target the Spray Elf, and that's it. And it doesn't matter what they target, we're going to dodge it. Opponent targeting the Spray Elf. Let's get dodging with the IP Masquerena. Now I could give up my Azcan here, but I'm going to leave Azcan on the field. in defense mode, and let's make that 2 negate Appaloosa. If opponent tries to activate their effects in hand, they will be negated, and opponent doesn't want to even try. They are done. Eviscerating the Minkankos. Let's go on to the next game. Alright, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe. I will be back with more fish content in the future. In the next video, I will be talking about the new water cards, and I will be doing some more sink or swim. Alright, opponent is going first. They are playing Pearly. We have an Ash Blossom. What are we going to Ash Blossom? The My Friend Pearly. I think that is probably the best Ash target. Stop them from searching for whatever Pearly spell they want to get. Now, at the end of this episode, I'm going to have another sink or swim. So while opponent is doing their Pearly plays, we got no more interaction. If you want to be featured in Sink or Swim, just send a link to your, or an email to me. My address is in the video description with your Duelist profile code, and make sure to save the replay you want in your replays list and make it public, and I'll be able to go to your profile and watch it on the channel. We'll decide if it's a sink or a swim. Like I said in the next video, I've been sent maybe like 30 sink or swims, so I'm going to get through as many as possible in the next video. In this video, we're just going to have one. So if you want your sink and swim to be featured, if you send it to me in the next day, probably will get featured in the big sink or swim marathon. All right. E Pearly Beauty is get attaching. So opponent has a negate, and they have a Lyrilusk. All right, back to our turn. What is attached to this E Pearly Beauty? Because it does matter. Opponent has the Sleepy Memory, which means this monster is going to activate an effect in the standby phase to draw a card, and I am running the Triple Tactics talents because a couple reasons. All right, first off, this searches the search spell for the Gishkis. All right, so if we triple tactics, we can triple tactics for the thirst. If opponent has a monster on the field, we can triple tactics for the search, but we can also triple tactics for a whole bunch of interaction. I am running Raigeki and I am running Feather Duster. So in this position, what's the right play? Well, I think the right play is get triple tactics thrusting for a Raigeki, pop the field, and opponent doesn't want to see it. They have been defeated. Pearly's the toppest tier of decks, destroyed by a single thrust, and that's why you get thrust in. Let's go on to the next game. All right, we are on to the next game. Thanks again to the members of the Sim King Army. If you want to join the channel and be a member, you can even have a signed card sent to you. It might even be the Legendary Fisherman. I can't make any promises. All right, Paces get activating. We're going to do the Paces line. Get the Gishki Grimness, get the Abyss. Search for the Shadow. Shadow going to activate. Search for the Photo Mirror. Link to into the Spray Elf. You've seen it all before. Let's get Ritual in. Summon that Narrow Mana, summon a monster from the graveyard. And we're going to get the Gishki Shadow here. All right, and we have the option, and I keep thinking about this, and you know, it is a possibility to instead of, and it's probably not worth it, all right, but you could leave the Gishki Shadow on the field and leave the Abyss on the field, and then get your Paces out, and then the next turn you could go straight into the board nuke, straight into Ghotis the Deep Beyond. But I think it's better in most cases just to have the IP Masquerena, and then we can go into the regular old Gishki level 6 play that you saw in that first game. All right, let's get the Paces. Opponent activating Pot. We are going to Ash the Pot. Ash the Pot agreed, and in response to that Pot, we are going to get our Grimness onto the field. Grimness going to search for the Abyss, and now we have Ghotis plays. We have Negate. We have IP Masquerena to dodge the Change of Heart on the Sprite Elf. Let's get Dodge in. Into that 2 negate Appaloosa, keep our Banish alive, and opponent going for the Triple Tactics talent, then they get to steal something. Now I'm really worried, all right, what are they going to steal? Because they steal Appaloosa, they got 2 negates, they can negate the Narrow Manus, they can negate the effect of the Paces to summon. So I'm really expecting to take Appaloosa here, but opponent stealing the Narrow Manus, summoning a Kashtira Scareclaw from the hand, and I am not going to, I don't even think we can negate this. Oh, you can. It is an effect. So I could negate this with the Appaloosa, but you do that, it's just going to get negated by the Narrow Mana. So we're going to let that resolve. And opponent tributing both monsters to make a Nibiru. Opponent, I think, did not know what Paces did, and opponent was not ready for what is about to happen, because opponent just tributed 2 monsters, including our Narrow Manus, which was a negate, to get Ghotied. All right, opponent, you're getting Ghotied right now. Ariampos, let's teach him what Ghotis do. Summon the Zep from the deck. Synchro summon into the Azcan. Banish card on the field. Azcan banish itself. as can banish a fish from the graveyard and come back. We get to search for another Paces, which means we can go into a Synchro 10 on the next turn. And opponent is done. Love to see it get goatied. All right. On to the next game, and this is a going second hand, but we are going first. So how do we turn this going second hand into going first hand? Now, let me know if you see the line, all right? But I see the line, okay? We are going to normal summon Gishki Shadow, and we are going to use cross out designate to extend. That's right, because of the Ghotis, and I really wish this was at 3 like it is in TCG. You'd be playing some mad Ghotis in TCG right now. Banish the Paces from the deck. It's negated this turn, but on the next turn, it is no longer negated. It is going to summon itself, and that means we have a Synchro 6 play. We have the Ghotis Banish. Let's fire off that Maxi in the draw phase. Opponent setting 2 back row, not wanting to play into the Maxi, or maybe they don't have anything to summon. Let's Arion Post get the Azcan, banish one of their back row. And opponent doesn't want to see it. They have been Ghotied out, and they are done. Ghotis too strong, even with a hand that looked like a complete brick. Let's go on to the next game. All right, we are on to the next game. We got the Focused Aqua Mirror, but our opponent is going first, activating Foolish Burial. And I always let Foolish Burial resolve, because when opponents send things with Foolish Burial, you know, it might be a thing that they also have in the hand that they can discard that they want to activate. So just let it resolve. Also gives you some info about the deck. Opponent sending that Nimble Angler. We definitely don't want that to resolve. Ash Blossom negate. Negate the Nimble Angler. No nimbling for you. So I'm guessing this is some sort of Sprite deck. We will see. Opponent summoning Adamantipator Crystal Dragite. All right, I did not expect that. And activating Left Arm Offering, banishing the rest of their hand, which was a Chaos Hunter and an Ash Blossom, in order to search for a spell. They get to search for any spell. That is quite frightening, but it is just a Sprite starter. So opponent just playing Sprites with Adamantipator Crystal for some reason. I don't really know what that's all about, but Sprites get Spritin. And this is full Sprite combo, basically. Opponent going into the Gigantic. Gigantic going to activate. Lock them into level 2s. Get a Sprite Jet. Get the Smashers. And opponent is going to go into the Sprite Elf. Not summoning it to protect the Gigantic Sprite from being targeted. Getting the Sprite Red and not putting the Sprite Red in the Elf zone. Alright, so key pro tip if you're playing Sprites, alright? Summon your key pieces in the zones that the Sprite Elf points to. So typically, because this has already done its job, I would probably just put the Sprite Red here, and then when you activate your Sprite Elf to summon whatever you're going to summon from the graveyard, probably this Jet, you summon it here so it can't get targeted by an Imperm, alright? Although I guess your Sprite Elf is going to get targeted by the Imperm. Let's draw into probably the perfect card. Opponent has Monster Negate. They didn't set their Banish for some reason. So opponent has Monster Negate for sure. But we are going to be able to dismantle this board really easily with that Necro Mirror draw. Let's activate the Focused Aqua Mirror. Get focusing. Opponent trying to summon the Sprite Jet from the graveyard. We know their last card in hand, so I'm just going to banish this right now. Do not let opponent get any additional value. Banish. Get fingered. Opponent still got their Monster Negate, but they're not going to have it for long. Let's Narrow-Mantis, and then we're going to Ghotis, all right? And we have not activated an effect here, all right? Why am I doing this, all right? You know, because we're thinking ahead. When Narrow-Mantis gets summoned, it special summons a water from the graveyard, so we want to have a water in the graveyard. That is why I'm running the All Mirage. If I want to summon my fish to get a fish, or you know, something in the graveyard that's little, to summon with Narrow-Mantis, or maybe for another effect with the Ghotis that we'll talk about later. We want to get that in the graveyard. So now, did not activate any effects. Now let's get tributing. Now we got something to summon with a Narrow-Mantis. Tribute that Sprite Red to summon the Narrow-Mantis. Opponent's Monster Negate is gone. Activate the effect of the Narrow-Mantis. Summon the Paces. Get Sprite Elfin. Activate the Sprite Elf. And I could do more things here, but you know what? I don't really think I want to extend anymore, because I would have to give up my Narrow-Mantis. So we're just going to banish the Paces. So it comes back on the next turn. Crash into that Sprite Elf. And opponent has one monster, but we got to negate. Our monsters are protected from being targeted, although this spell does not target. And we got the Aqua Mirror Illusion, which if opponent lets us negate, then we're going to get to resummon. Paces come back. Opponent activating Gigantic. We are going to try to negate. Opponent is going to activate the Smashers, but by doing that, they have to banish their Gigantic Spray, which means it's not going to resolve because it's not going to be on the field, so they won't be able to remove a material. Opponent banishing our Neramanus, and opponent has 1 card left in the hand. And they are passing the turn. It is a brick, or they don't have enough to do. And we are going to go into the IP Masquerena. We got the Grimness to Wombo combo. And does opponent know they're done? They have the Ash Blossom, the last piece of interaction, but that is not going to stop us. We are going to activate the effect of the Spray Elf, and opponent knows it's over. Let's go on to the next game. All right, on to the next game, and this is what I want to talk about. All right, the most distant, deepest depths. Now, when I was playing pure Ghotis, I said that you don't want to play this card, all right? And you don't want to play it because it requires a fish that you have to banish, and the Ghotis don't really have ways of dumping additional fish, so usually going to just be a bit of a brick. It is nice recursion engine if the game gets grindy because you can keep searching every turn for more Ghotis. But in this deck, one thing we have a lot of is random fish, and these fish are going to end up in the graveyard. We can use the distant deepest depths to banish our fish from the graveyard and get additional bodies on the field. Let's show it off, all right? Let's activate right now. Activate, banish our Paces from the hand. All right, you're not always going to have a Paces. You could banish the Gishki Abyss too. And that's going to summon or search for the Abyss, which is going to, the Ixeep, sorry. And Ixeep is going to summon itself because a fish got banished. So we got a free level 4 on the field, and we got our Paces coming back. Let's normal summon the Abyss. Opponent effect veiling, but we literally do not care. This is like the most ineffective effect veiler I have ever seen in my life. Although, I do say that it would have been really sweet if we could have got that search, because we could have done our ritual summon right now. But we can still do it. Let's just link 2 into the Spray Elf. Spray Elf, get that Abyss back on the field. Get searching. Opponent activating Abyssal Drill Swarm, but all our monsters are water, so the Abyssals do nothing. That's what you get. That's what you get for playing anti-Light Dark Hate. Let's get that Vision. Let's activate the Vision. Activate the Shadow. Get summoning the Neramanus, and opponent very politely gave us a monster to tribute on their side of the field for the Gishki Necro Mirror. Let's activate. Tribute our opponent's Bestial Drill Swarm. Summon the Neramanus. Activate. Get back the Shadow. And opponent's Bestial is activating. They can target a special summon monster and send it to the graveyard, so they could target our Spray Elf. So do we want our Spray Elf to be gone? I think we want to keep it around, so I'm going to use my Neramanus to protect the Spray Elf. It is not ideal, but it is what we are going to do here. And we still get the summon, so we get the Gishki Shadow, and we're going to go into the IP Masquerena. And now, like before, we got the Paces play. We got the play with the Ghotis. Except, do we have the play with the Ghotis? We do not. We have a little bit of a not play with the Ghotis because Gishki Abyss is in the graveyard, but we don't have Gishki Grimness. So we aren't going to be able to get a level 4 with our Spray Elf. So maybe not ideal. Maybe we're in trouble. Branded Opening getting activated. Pace is coming back to the field. Opponent getting that Aluber. Aluber going to search for the Branded Regained. And this was in the, we could not activate Masquerena yet, couldn't activate Sprite Elf yet. Opponent Branded Regain. We are going to wait till it resolves, then summon the Abyss so it doesn't miss the timing. Get that Gishki Shadow. Opponent Fallen of Albaz going to try and summon using the Albaz and a monster on our field. It's too late to negate, so we have only one option if we want to stop this fusion from happening. We are going to make the Underworld Goddess. Get stealing. Get rid of the Albaz with it gone from the field using all of our monsters. Opponent will not be able to summon anything because they don't have the Fallen Albaz to fuse with. And opponent is done. They have no more cards left. Love to see it. Let's go on to the next game. All right, we got Maximum C. We got Triple Tactics Talent. We got Gishki Shadow. But this hand, what does it do? It does basically nothing. All right, we are going to get some bricky hands. It is going to happen. Let's activate Gishki Shadow, see if we can bait an Ash Blossom so we can make this Triple Tactics Thrust live. Opponent is activating the Max C. So Thrust is live, but do we want... I'm thinking about this now, all right, we're going to activate the Thrust, but is it even worth it to activate Thrust going first? All right, you let me know, because we have two options here. We can search for an Imperm to negate opponent's cards. Or we can search for our spell starter, but it gets set to the field and we can't activate it this turn because opponent doesn't control a monster. We have to wait till our next turn. So is this really going to survive a whole turn? Let's set this Zep face down. Don't really want to draw the Zep. Let's activate Max C. Hope opponent is forced to not make a play, and it's Sky Strikers, and this is frightening. All right, because Sky Strikers love grindy games, so we are not putting up any pressure right now. Opponent Harpy's Feather Dusting, getting rid of our focus, so we don't have a starter for the next turn, and going into Sky Striker. So they are playing into the Max C. They're going to let us draw some cards here. Kagari, letting us draw Aquamirror Illusion. Again, not a great draw. We're drawing all the bricks, all the search targets. Opponent Sky Striker, banishing our Gishki Shadow from the graveyard and linking into the Shizuku. Shizuku, letting us search for the distant deepest depths. Okay, do we have a fish in the graveyard? We do. Okay, so we have a way to search for the Ghotis. But is this, you know, something we can do? Do we have something we can really do here? Maybe, possibly. All right, opponent setting 2 back row, searching for the Mobilize, which is going to let them grind on the next turn. And let's just hope for a base top deck. All right, this is a pretty good top deck. Not the most perfect top deck, but it's pretty good. All right, let's activate. Search for the Grimness. Bit of a risk here. I could have searched for the Ritual Monster, got summoning right away, but we know opponent has 2 set back row. They're going to interact with us somehow. Let's just hope this Grimness resolves. Opponent negating with the Widow Anchor. Not what we wanted to see. Not what we wanted to see at all. All right, and this is maybe a mistake, and maybe, you know, what we could have done instead was banish this Zep from the graveyard. All right, or sorry, summon an Abyss. Search for an Abyss. Abyss gets negated. Then we use Distant Deepest Depths, banish the Zep, get the Exceep summon to the field, and then we go link 2, get the Abyss again. And that would have been probably a better line. So maybe I'm misplaying here. We're going to go for it anyway. Banish the Zep, get the Exceep, but because we summon a Grimness and not an Abyss, we aren't going to be able to activate it a second time. This one is a hard once per turn. So Sprite Elf, get summoning, opponent stealing the Sprite Elf with the Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor, but they're not going to be able to do anything with it. Let's set this Aquamirror Illusion. Sprite Elf is negated. Pass back to us. And let's activate that Max C again. All right, so opponent wants to summon. We're going to draw on, except opponent drew into the Ash Blossom. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. And our Sprite Elf being in the main monster zone means we can't protect our monsters from being targeted. Opponent going into Kagari. Kagari going to search for the Mecha Widow Anchor. We're going to get summoning right now. Although this is going to get negated probably. Opponent gets that Widow Anchor. This is going to activate. Opponent's going to negate immediately. Not really a way to play around that. Gets negated. Opponent going to mobilize, draw 2 cards basically. Search and draw. Activates the maneuver, which unfortunately pops our set back row and lets them pop a monster. So that set back row really set them up for that play. We kind of should have maybe not set that back row. All right, opponent airspace and going into Hayate. Go into battle. Getting the Grimness. All right, but we are not out of this, okay? We can keep activating our Distant Deepest Depths to get Ghotis. And we can keep drawing, and maybe we draw the Ritual Monster. Opponent making a Shizuku. Adding the Mecha Mobilize or multi-roll. All right. Drawing the Designator is not ideal. We can use it to get a Ghoti, but we can't use it to get a non-tuner Ghoti. So we're going to set the paces. We're going to set the crossout. Opponent going into Kagari. We're going to speed things up here. Adding back the maneuver. We're going to activate crossout designate. Banish the paces. Opponent activating. I wanted to get that off the field so opponent couldn't pop it. Opponent searching with the mobilize, getting a Sky Striker, getting a Ray and a Rose, but opponent now has monsters in their main monster zone, which means all their Sky Striker spells are not activatable. Trying to get in some big damage, I guess, for Sky Strikers. Poking us for 3,000. Going to the Shizuku, but opponent still has those monsters on their main monster zone, which means they can't activate their Sky Striker back row, which is probably a mistake, all right, because now we don't have to worry about negates, and we finally draw into the Naramanis, except opponent did exactly 3,000 life point damage to us, which means if we activate this Photo Mirror, it will kill us. It does 5,000 damage exactly. So we got to believe. All right. And remember what we did last turn? We banished our paces with our crossout designate. So it's going to come back to the field. And now we can finally show off the distant deepest depths, banish from the graveyard the paces, get another paces, normal summon it, and now Sprite Elf number 2. Opponent can't activate this back row. Let's get the Grimness on the field. Get the Shadow. Search for the Ritual spell, and that's right, we can tribute their monster. Let's tribute their extra deck monster. Summon the Naramanis. Special summon from the graveyard the Shadow, so we can go into Ghotis plays, but opponent quick linking into the Kana. So maybe I should have taken the Ray. You let me know. What's the right play against Sky Strikers? They are making it so that Naramanis can't attack, which means we can't attack at all because we activated Grimness, locking us into only attacking with Ritual monsters. Let's make an IP Masquerena. Go to Battle Pass to the opponent's turn. Get setting the Aquamirror Illusion, but opponent still has these on the field. They can't activate their spell cards. Paces get on the field. Opponent making Azalea to force out the Naramanis. Let's activate the Sprite Elf. Naramanis negate. Get back to the hand. We got the Aquamirror Illusion to summon it again. Opponent making the Zeke. Zeke targeting our Sky Striker, or Sprite Elf, sorry, to banish it until the next end phase. So we could let this happen, or we could IP Masquerena right now and make the Nightmare Unicorn, spin the Zeke. Opponent mobilizing to tag the Zeke out into a Hayate, dodging the Unicorn. Let's activate, because we have exactly 10 levels on the field, and we're just going, gotta go big, or you gotta go home. We're gonna make the Deep Beyond, banish everything, and hope that it's enough. Banish it all, but opponent's last card is a Nibiru. The Nibiru and everything else gets banished. Opponent has one card left in the hand. We got the Naramanis. Unfortunately, because the Ghotis of the Deep Beyond was gone from the field, normally the field spell would stay on the field, but we did not control a synchro monster because of Nibiru, so it got banished as well. Probably a bit of a weakness of this field spell. Opponent's Rose is coming back. They activated Upstart Goblin to give us 1,000 life points. Thank you, opponent. Distant Deepest Depths, but I believe we are out of Ghotis to get. I think we have all of our Ghotis are in the graveyard. We got 1, 2, 3 paces. We got the Ixeep in the graveyard. So unfortunately, this is all we got left. We got nothing. No plays, and opponent gets lethal with the Rose. This game, so close. It felt like we almost had it under control, but Sky Strikers got Sky Striking us. All right, well, let's do one more game. All right, on to the last game. Then I will do the sink or swim, and I'll have the deck list at the end of the video. Opponent is going first. We got an Imperm. Opponent Moyi, my girl, revealing to summon the token. We are going to put a stop to that right now. My girl Moyi is drowning under the impermanence. Negated. All right. Do you have a follow-up play Sword Soul? They have a set back row. So what is this? Could be Blackout, could be Imperm, could be Call by the Grave, could be Crossout Designate. Opponent, Max C. Let's see. Can we stop the C? Finger the C. And it goes through. All right, so this is probably not a Crossout Designate. The Max C is gone. Let's start things off with the Focused Aquamirror. Search for the Gishki Grimness. Get Grimnessing. Grimness, search for the Abyss. Abyss, get activating. Opponent's face down card was Book of Eclipse. All right, not one of the cards I expected. Is going to flip all our monsters face down. And at the end of the turn, they're going to flip face up. We're going to draw cards equal to the number flipped up by the effect. So if you have Ash Blossom, you can negate this card. But we don't have Ash. Opponent flipping our monsters face down. Is this the end? Well, luckily, the effect of Grimness is usable even when it's face down. So let's get searching for the Shadow. Let's get Gishki Aquamirroring. Tribute the Grimness to summon Naramanis. That's going to re-summon the Grimness from the graveyard. Unfortunately, you cannot link with face-down monsters, although maybe that is fortunate. Links are pretty good as it is. All right, let's get that Necro Mirror to the hand. Go to battle, pop that My Girl Moyi. We got a negate, and I think that's it. We're going to get, sorry, 2 negates, because we got the Aquamirror Illusion. This gets flipped up. We draw a card. Opponent Summoning the Taya. We are going to negate that Taya effect. Hopefully the opponent doesn't have any way to stop this. They've used their normal summon. Does the opponent have any follow-up plays? Let's get this Aqua Mirror back on the field. Narrow Manus. Get our monster negate back online. Opponent triple tactics thrust. Alright, so what's the best thrust that they can get here? Alright, I think probably a Raigeki wipes the field. Alright, evenly matched. Not very good against us. We just keep our Narrow Manus. They could get the, hold on, Sword Soul starter. What is it? Hold on. They could get the Sword Soul Emergence. If they have another worm in hand, they could go into the activate effect to discard, except that's not going to work because we got Narrow Manus to negate. So really, I think it's Raigeki or bust here. Opponent has nothing. They activate the thrust, but they can't get thrust in. Failed mid thrust. All right, well, that's the importance. All right, I think a lot of people are playing thrust, but you got to make sure you have a good toolbox to get with your thrust. Otherwise, you're going to end up like Sword Soul right here and you know, surrender mid thrust. Just not ideal. All right, let's go on to sink or swim. All right, on to sink or swim. So fans send me this video. Like I said, if you want to send me a video, make sure to send it and I will get reviewing. And I didn't even realize this is the Duelist Cup. So we got someone playing Gishki. Looks like Gishki going second. Frozen. All right, very sweet. We got going second Gishki. Let's see how it works. Opponent going first, playing Math Mechs, going into Nightmare Corruptor. Oh my goodness, is this going to stop us from summoning? Splash Mage means the Corruptor goes onto our field. Parallel Exceed going to get summoning. Going second Ghotis, not something I see saying Ghotis, it's Gishki. Gotta get my G-based fish decks sorted out right. This is Gishki going second. Opponent going into the Alimbertian. That is going to give them their Super Factorial. Nope, they're getting the Circular. All right. Well, maybe they'll get the Super Factorial later. Circular gets summoning. Alimbertian tributing itself to summon a Math Mech. Diameter getting, there it is. There's a Super Factorial. All right. Opponent Splash Maging. Getting back the Alimbertian to make a Transcode Talker. Get transforming. Get back that Splash Mage. Link into the Decode Talker Heat Soul to draw a card on this turn and on the next turn. Making the Link 5. What is this nonsense? Firewall, Dragon, Dark Fluid, Neo Tempest, Tetrahertz. Negate any monster effects activated by your opponent during the battle phase. That does not seem very good. Quick effect, send a Cyberus monster to the GY, and if you do, this card gains the attribute of that monster sent to the graveyard and gains attack points. And it can attack up to the number of different attributes it has. This really feels like the sort of card you would make if you were going second, and not the sort of card you'd make going first. Opponent sending the Sigma, and I guess they got the Super Factorial. Maybe they really wanted to send that Sigma. Okay, well, Change of Heart is a great draw here. Opponent has no protection. Maybe we can use that to get rid of the Nightmare Corruptor Ibli, which is stopping us from summoning, except Link monsters. So we do have to clear that. And there it is, Link 2. Ibli is gone into a Nightmare Phoenix, going to let us discard to pop a back row. That was a very clutch draw with that. Gain control of the Change of Heart. Opponent activating, cross-out designate naming. What did they name? Did they name cross-out designate? No, they named Finger. All right, Gishki Grimness gets summoned. Get the Abyss. Opponent Super Factorialing. We knew this was there. So this is a pop in the hand, a pop on the field, and a negate. Opponent gets the Sigma, gets the Diameter, gets the Circular. Was there a way to play around this better? We have the Necromir in the hand. We got the Gishki Vision. Opponent Laplacian activating, popping a card in the hand, popping the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, and that was extremely lucky. All right, that was extremely lucky. Popping card in the field, pop in the Nightmare Phoenix, search with the Aqua Mirror for the Shadow. Not sure why you searched for the Shadow there. Probably could have held that. Maybe it was bait for an Ash Blossom. Sprite Elf, activate, get the Abyss. Opponent, activating the negate. Yeah, this is bait for the negate. All right, it was bait for the negate. Gets negated. Shadow activating, getting the Gishki Aqua Mirror. Gishki Vision activating. This is very well played. All right, you're waiting. You're doing the last thing is the thing you really want. All right, hoping that opponent will fall for that bait and negate something they don't want to negate if they have an Ash Blossom. Tribute the Laplacian. Summon the Narrow Manus. Get a monster back from the graveyard. What are we getting? Getting the Abyss. Of course, getting the Abyss. Abyss activate. Search for the Zelgigas. No way. We are summoning the Zelgigas. I love it. Tributing the Neramanus to summon the Zelgigas. And I have never summoned this, but is it going to be epic? Aqua Mirror activating. Going back to the hand. All right, all right. Are we going to summon this again? Neramanus back in the hand. Necro Mirror activating, shuffling back 2 cards. And we're going to Zelgigas. Wait, hold on. Let me check the log. This card, does it put a card on top of the deck? In your graveyard, target Gishki in your graveyard. Place it on top of the deck. Oh my goodness, this is such a big brain play. We know the card on top of the deck. Zelgigas is going to activate. Once per turn, pay 1,000 life points, draw a card. If you do reveal it, if it's a Gishki monster, shuffle a card on the field into the deck. There's nothing you want to shuffle, but you just put the card you wanted on top of the deck. Gishki Shadow, search for the ritual spell, and now we are going to get that Necro Mirror. But what are we tributing? We're just going to get back the Neramanus. So this was just like a big loop that achieved almost nothing. Wait, no, it's good. Because Neramanus can summon the Zelgigas. This is completely brilliant. All right, I've already granted you the privilege of getting a swim. If I had a higher award, you would have achieved it. All right, and is that lethal damage? It is a lot of damage. Opponent all the way down to 800. Okay, so clearly I am not big brain enough. No way, you're going Super Dreadnought. I love this. All right, I am so proud of you. You have lethal with the Super Dreadnought because you had 2 level 10s. This is beautiful. Thank you for sending me this video. You have won Yu-Gi-Oh for the day. And I hope you guys stuck around for Sink or Swim because this is the sort of quality you can get. All right, let's go on to the deck list. All right, here's the Gishki deck list now frozen. Can you please send me that deck list because that was an amazing replay. I definitely want to try that deck list out. All right, now this is not his deck list. This is my deck list, so let's go through it. We got Gishki Abyss at 2. We got triple Maximum C. This is Gishki Ghotis. All right. We got 2 Gishki Visions. We got triple Paces. Now, Paces is the card I think you want to use to start your combo plays. I'm not playing, the normal summon Gishkis normal summon Ghotis, sorry, that don't really synergize with the normal summon of our Gishkis, because Gishkis really want to normal summon the Grimness, so we don't want to waste that by having too many normal summonable monsters with the Ghotis. So that's why we're using Paces only. We got the Zep to summon on the opponent's turn, triple Grimness, triple Ash Blossom to negate Maximum C, triple Gishki Shadow because I love the Shadow, always searching, Ixeep to get that free special summon with the Distant Deepest Depths, 2 Neramanus. We got the Regeki, we got the Feather Duster, we got the Focused Aqua Mirror at 3, we got the triple Tactics Thrust to get thrusting, 2 copies of the Deepest Depths. We got Gishki, Photo Mirror, Aqua Mirror, and Necro Mirror. We got 2 Call by the Graves. We got 1 Cross Out to start our Gishki plays. And by Gishki, I mean Goti. And we got Aqua Mirror Illusion and Infinite Impermanence. I guess this is a new drinking game. I guess we know whenever I say the wrong type of fish monster, you take a shot and then you get very drunk by the end of this video. All right, Arion Post we got at 2. We got 2 Azcans. We got the Baron. We got Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign. Go to the Deep Beyond. All Mirage to get our fish in the graveyard so we can use Distant Deepest Depths. All right. We got Masquerena, Sprite Elf, Nightmare Unicorn, Appaloosa, Unchained Abomination, who I never made and is just there because he's adorable and is in the pet zone. We gotta get this. All right, you let me know. Should I be playing Abomination or should I keep the Toad pet? Because this guy's a pretty sweet pet. We'll take a look at him in a second. And we got the Underworld Goddess. All right, thank you for watching. We'll take one quick look at the pet and then I will see you next time. Look at him. He's so cool. He's such a cool pet. All right, you let me know if I should play this in the pet zone, if we can retire the Toad. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night.